Okay, this is the Southern Pacific type headlight. This stuff finally arrived today. This is going to actually be inset into the hood like the Southern Pacific style, you know, right in the nose there. I've got to install that. And then I got these to actually go over the cab. Just basically looked it up to see what was the closest to what they had at the company that made this locomotive. This is not going to be prototypical. I can just go ahead and tell you that it's not going to be. It's not going to be exact. It's going to be close, but it's not going to be exact. This is the way that I have the motor mounted in. I really just rigged up a frame to encase the motor, and I had to, if you notice right there underneath the motor, I set another piece of styrene. That styrene is cut in a horseshoe shape because the top of the motor is exposed, and so is the bottom. The magnetic part, or the coil part of the motor, is actually exposed and it rubs. So to keep it from rubbing, I just cut me out a little horseshoe shaped piece to actually go on there, and that way and I glued it down, and then I set the motor on top of that, and then I glued down just this little styrene frame here to go on it and glued it across. Now, yeah, you know, it looks bad, but you're not going to see it after I get her running. You know, most of the time when you're doing something like this and you're having to make this up as you go, that's what you wind up with. So, yeah, I'm going to try to add some more footage to this video that I'm making. I'm going to go ahead and start installing that light in the nose, get some measurements. I wish that I was capable of actually videoing the work. I've had a couple of subscribers to mention that I should video some of, you know, or the actual build, but I just don't. I'm not equipped for that yet. I'm trying. Bear with me. I like I mentioned before in the previous video, I really want to make this channel stand out a little bit. I know that I'll never be as popular as some, but and it's not popularity contest anyway. I just want people to watch what I'm doing. I enjoy conversing with other modelers. This is the little decoder. Let me see if I can get this thing to zoom in. Naturally, you can't do this with just one finger, not this camera. But that's the little Digitrax decoder that I've put in there. It was a plug-and-play, and it is no longer a plug-and-play. Yes, I'm terrible. But anyway, I'm going to see what else I can add. Once I start doing the cut work, I may be able to add that to, you know, some of the work to the video so I can talk about it. I just don't know. Like I said, bear with me, and let's just see where this goes. If it doesn't work out that I apologize in advance. I will try to start making some how-to videos or what I'm up to videos as far as the complete physical deal. I just don't want to post one every other day. Hopefully, the Lord willing, here soon, I will be working. Just went for a good interview the other day. And really won't have time for an everyday video. But anyway, that's where I'm at so far. We'll be back here in just a minute, and I'll be showing something else. As I promised, I'm going to try to show you what I've got going on. Now, what I've done here is I've taken a piece of sandpaper and I've sanded this nose down flat. I've done this deliberately. You're probably wondering, why has he done this? I've done this deliberately. What I'm actually wanting to do is I'm going to do some body work here. I'm going to take this right here, this piece of styrene strip. I'm going to take this piece of styrene strip, and after I get this cut down like I want, take this piece of stripping and put it down in here and glue it. After I do that, I'm going to take this Tamiya putty and I'm going to fill in whatever's there, and then I'm going to sand it down. And that'll give it the box front that it's going to have. Now, I've been looking at this, and as I mentioned before, this is a on-the-fly job. I don't have prints. Nobody's given me anything, and there's actually a couple of guys out there that's doing this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eyeball this and get it about where I want. And then I'm just going to trace it out, providing that I can keep this in the place where I want it. And see, I moved it. It's not always an exact science, you know. Hey, just whatever, you know. Your razor actually will do the trick. See that trick right there? That's what a razor would do too. It cut the whole top of that off. Yes, I did. Anyway, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I'm going to let this razor, and I'm not forcing down on this. You're probably thinking, boy, he's fixing to cut his finger again. But no, I'm not forcing down on this. I'm just going to saw back and forth and scar it pretty good. And then I'm going to do the other side. Now, I'm putting down a little bite, but my thumbs aren't and my fingers aren't in the way. That's the one thing that I can just tell you to keep in your mind when you're using these razors, because they are deadly sharp. And they will deadly hurt you. That really did happen, and it happened with this razor. I was actually cutting the nose off of this right here, and I was holding it, and when it finally come loose, whack, right off the top. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to continue to work on this and get this where I want it, and then I'm going to glue this into place, and then I'm going to put the putty on it, and then I'm going to do a little, let it dry for 24 hours. You better, because that Tamiya does not dry really quick, and you'll just have gummed up sandpaper. That's what happened right there. That's why there's pieces missing out of that, because I did not let it dry. I was being impatient, as usual, trying to hurry up. You can even, most of you probably already know, but you can rock your razor back and forth, and your razor will work its way into the plastic. But anyways, I just wanted to show you what I was doing, where I'm at, and once I get more done, I'll come back and video some more. But this is as close as I'm going to get to how to. That hurt. This is the first time I've ever set a light or anything else. I've never really done never done this before. So to all of you surgeons out there who have done this before, if I'm doing a bad job, well, it'll all come out in the wash. And yeah, I'm not putting a precise measurement on it. You can see there that I've actually got the bottom a little wider than what it needs. I'll have to go in there and measure it. Get this little razor out here. See if I can straighten this side up just a skosh. Now, what I'm going to wind up doing is getting this in here, because this is actually going to be the straight end of the nose. This piece here that I'm putting in, okay? At least this is the way I've got it figured right now. This is all subject to change. Luckily, I had my top there glued, and I went back and stiffened this up to keep it from breaking loose. I glued there and on the plate, on the wall and the plate, to keep it stable when I did start doing this. Yes, I did plan that far ahead. But once I put this in place, this is going to be the flat part of the nose, and it will serve as the flat part. What I'm going to do, and I don't have a caliper, but I do have this trusty old metric / standard measuring straight edge. I'm just going to use the old saying, when in doubt, read a rule. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to pull it off the one and measure the top. And no, this is not absolutely accurate, but it'll be close enough. So that's 2 and 1 millimeter. Look up there at the top, see if it's about the same. So we'll just look at the bottom and see how it's laying. And it's actually pretty close there. So really I could just leave that alone. Right now I'm just going to glue this into place here and get it ready to put the Tamiya to it, and make sure that I'm probably going to reinforce the inside here with more plastic and glue, so that when I do start doing the actual body work to it, I won't force it and re-crack it. Looks pretty damaged, doesn't it? Now that's the fun part. Anyway, be back to show you that. Okay, I've got the pieces. I just glued these into place, and I don't know how well you can see it, but of course it puts the flat end on there. Now this is before, naturally, I put the putty on it. And I went to the back and I stiffened it up. Now, I don't do things, I don't know how to say this. When I make something like this, and I've actually built a couple of things, when I make something like this, I treat it like it's real world. And I have been a welder fitter for years, and this is steel plate. In the real world, this is actually plate. So when I'm doing something like this, naturally this is not going to be taking a lot of pressure as a real world locomotive shell, but it's going to be taking pressure from me doing the sanding on it. So I come to the back and I reinforced it. I took 2 small pieces of styrene, run it the length, and a little longer than what it should be, and I did that on purpose too. And of course I put model glue back there in the back. I just use just regular old Tester's glue. I put it back there on the back, and I 100% all the way up and down glued both of these 2 pieces. There's glue all the way from top to bottom, top to bottom. I also put a little piece running horizontally across it, and 100% put glue on that. Now I'm going to let this dry overnight. I may go ahead and put the putty on it after I rough it a little bit with some sandpaper. I may go ahead and put some of the putty on it to start smoothing it out and let it dry overnight. But this is going to dry and set up overnight, so this glue is 110% dry and ready to be abused come tomorrow. That is the one thing you will learn when kit bashing. Patience is a must. If you do not use patience, you're just going to have problem after problem and constantly be frustrated, and there's enough frustration in it. So anyway, it's enjoyable now, but there's enough frustration. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to let this dry, and once it gets like I want it, I'll come back and either I'll put the putty on it, or I'll already have the putty on the front of it here and ready to be sanded. I may come back and show doing some sanding. I don't know. I don't really know how to do this again. So anyway, yeah, I just want to show you that. Plenty of reinforcement on the back.